Chapter 23 Outrageous Fortune. There was one flaw in Allie's plan. She had no idea when the McGill would get to that particular fortune cookie she had planted. She thought she would have to add a few more to the mix to better her odds, but before she could, her whole situation changed. Just before she planned to leave for the treasure hold to write more fortunes, Pinhead and 4 Ugloids broke into her room without knocking. "He wants you on deck," Pinhead said. "He wants you on deck now." This wasn't unusual. The McGill called for people on a whim, as if all the clocks in Everlost were set by his personal schedule. This was the first time, however, that Pinhead had barged in without as much as knocking. "What does he want?" "You," was all Pinhead said, and although he had been helpful to her in the past, he offered no hint of an explanation, not a wink, not a grin. "You better not keep him waiting." When Allie came to the throne deck, the McGill sat there, his claws clenched together, the look in his terrible eyes more terrible than usual. Next to the McGill stood a large afterlight Allie hadn't seen for a while, though undressed in that ridiculous wrestler's outfit. "Good evening," the McGill said. "You wanted to see me?" said Allie. "Yes, I would like to know steps 8 through 12. "Finish step 7, Allie said, and then I'll let you know step 8. Allie had really come up with a good one for step 7. As the McGill was so fond of bullying people around, Allie decided that the 7th step would be a 72-hour vow of silence. So far, the McGill couldn't even make 24. "You just spoke," she said. "I guess you'll have to start all over again." The McGill motioned to the wrestler kid. "Piledriver, you can bring it out now." Piledriver dutifully went into a side room and came back rolling a barrel that he set in the center of the room. "Are you putting me in there?" Allie asked. "Is that it? If you do, you'll never know the last 4 steps." The McGill nodded to Piledriver again, and he pried open the barrel. It was full of liquid, but there was also something else in the barrel. Something that glowed, and once the lid was off, it rose out, dripping in slimy pickle juice. The moment Allie saw who it was, she knew she was in serious, serious trouble. It was the Haunter. "You," said the Haunter, the moment he saw Allie. The McGill stood up. "I am the one who brought you here," the McGill told the Haunter. "You will answer my questions." "And if I don't want to?" "Then I'll seal you back in the barrel." The Haunter held up his hand, and various loose objects began to fly around the room, striking the McGill. "Stop that, or your next stop is the center of the earth," the McGill roared. "Your skill at moving objects does not impress me, nor does it bother me. I bested you before, and if you fight me, I'll do it again. And this time I'll show no mercy." Slowly the flying objects fell to the ground. "Good. Now you will answer my questions." The Haunter looked at him with hatred so strong it could have warped time. "What do you want to know?" "Don't believe a word he says," Allie blurted out. The McGill ignored her. "Tell me about this girl and her friends. Tell me what she knows." The Haunter laughed. "Her? She knows nothing. I offered to teach her, but she refused." "I didn't need him," Allie countered. "I was taught by someone else." "There is no one else who teaches the things I teach," the Haunter said arrogantly. "You know nothing when you came to me. You know nothing now." "I know how to get inside people," Allie told him. "I know how to skin Jack." She tried to sound strong and sure of herself, but her voice came out crackly and weak. "It's true," said the McGill. "I saw her do it." The Haunter climbed out of the barrel and approached her, leaving a trail of salty brine where his moccasins fell. "It's possible," he said. "She does have an undeveloped skill to move objects, so it's possible that she may also have the skill to skin Jack." The McGill came closer to the two of them. "What I want to know is this. Can the skill be taught? Can she teach it to me?" The Haunter didn't bat an eye. "No, she cannot." The McGill pointed a crooked, sharp-nailed, furry finger at the Haunter. Then you teach me how to skin Jack. The haunter shook his head. It can't be taught. Either you have the skill or you don't. You've been in Everlost long enough to know what your skills are. If you have not possessed the living by now, then you will never will. Allie could feel the McGill's anger like the heat of a furnace. I see. Like the heat at the center of the earth. He's lying, Allie shouted. He just wants to win you over and get you to trust him so he can betray you the moment you're not looking. I'm the one who's been helping you all this time. Who are you going to believe, him or me? The McGill looked at both of them, the haunter on his left, Allie on his right. Who are you going to believe? Allie asked again. The McGill regarded Allie for a moment more, then returned to Piledriver and the other crewmen present. Seal him back in the barrel, then throw him overboard. What? The haunter shouted. There is only room for one monster in Everlost, the McGill growled. The haunter raised his hands, and objects began to fly once more, but although he had powerful magic, he was small and outnumbered. No shower of objects could save him from being shoved back in the barrel. You will suffer, the haunter shouted. I will find a way to make you suffer. But soon all that came out were angry gurgles from within the barrel. Piledriver put the lid back on and hammered the nails back into place. Then he and Pinhead grabbed the barrel and heaved it over the side. It disappeared beneath the waves without as much as a splash, sinking to the seafloor and beyond. Thus the haunter met his destiny. Once he was gone, Allie felt relief wash through her like a cleansing rain. There, she said. Now that that's over with, you need to get on with step 7. No, don't speak. You can start now. 72 hours. I know you can do it. The McGill didn't speak. Instead, he reached out, and a crewman handed the McGill a paintbrush dripping with black paint. What are you doing? Allie asked. What I should have done the moment you came on board. Then he painted the number 0001 on her blouse and said, Chime her. The McGill had not felt his temper rage this powerfully for a very long time. He had forgotten how good it felt. Anger. Let it fill him. Let it rage like a dance of flames. Anger at her for her lies. Anger at himself for allowing his feelings to cloud his judgment. Anger enough to cauterize any vulnerability, burning close the wound she had left in his twisted heart by her deception. This girl had played him for a fool, but that was over. With the addition of Allie to the chiming chamber, his collection was now complete. He went down below to watch. The crew had untangled them, and now they all swung free again. He watched as they turned Allie upside down so that the 001 on her shirt read 1,000. A brave man's life is worth 1,000 cowardly souls, said a fortune cookie. From the first time he read that fortune years ago, he knew what it meant. He could have his life back in exchange for 1,000 afterlights. Souls were the currency with which he could buy back his life. Imagine it. Flesh and bone, blood and breath. For a short while, he had thought skinjacking would be better, but that option had never really existed, had it? No, there was only one way to return to the world of the living. This bargain. His life for 1,000 souls. Whether the bargain was with a deity or demon, it didn't matter to the McGill. All that mattered were the terms. Well, he had satisfied the terms. He had 1,000 souls for payment. Now, all he needed was a location to make the exchange. So he returned to his throne room and went straight to the spittoon. He reached in, pulled out a cookie, and smashed it against the arm of the throne, extracting the piece of paper. He held the fortune with anticipation for a moment, before gazing upon its words. The instant he saw the message, he knew what it meant, and for the first time in many years, the McGill was afraid. Because the fortune said, Your victory waits at the pier of defeat. Ignoring all the warnings in his mind that told him it was a bad idea, the mighty McGill set the Sulphur Queen on a course toward Atlantic City.